Okay, all right. Peace and wellness, family. I hope that you are well and happy and whole and all that good stuff, y'all. We have a full moon in Virgo peaking on February 24th at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. But the shadow period for that full moon started yesterday, February 21st, and it will last until about February 27th. So, the intention for this video is for us to unpack the meaning of this planetary alignment because there are some other planets that will be opposing this full moon in Virgo that will impact this energy. I want to discuss how this energy may affect us over this next week or so, right? And identify some things that we can do, some practices that we can implement via journal prompts, different crystals, herbs, and things like that, that we can implement to utilize this energy for our wellness, family. Okay. First off, I gotta say shout out to the wellness community. I love y'all dearly. Hey Toya. Hey Queen Beijing Girl. Hey Jax. Much love, much love, much love. As always, family, I love y'all dearly. We just celebrated our 4-year anniversary of the founding of the wellness community. I founded the wellness community February 20th, 2020, right? To 2020. And I made my first post in the community on February 22nd, 2020. So this is our 4-year wellness anniversary, and I'm so excited and I love it so much. We as a tribe have grown in so many different ways. When I first started the wellness community, of course, the intention was to build a wellness centered community, right? That was the intention. And I started out by doing one newsletter per month, having like classes that I would put up, and we had a group chat. And now we do so many more things than that, right? We have our book club listening parties every month. We have our series watch parties, our film watch parties, our family meetings. We have the notes and stuff like that. We do all of this. It's so much that we do, and we still have our group chat and everything. It's just been amazing how we have grown and evolved. We are at this point, we are well over 2,000 members, which is like, wow, it's crazy. Over 2,000 members, and it's just been a blessing. It's truly, truly, truly been a blessing, and I'm so grateful. And I'm so happy to be able to see this vision flourish and continue to thrive. And we are blessed and we are protected and we are well, and it is easy. It is easy. And I'm grateful for that. So shout out to my tribe, shout out to the wellness community. When y'all see all the butterflies in the chat, just know that it is us. It is us. It is us. And one of the things I'm most proud about with the wellness community is how we support other people, right? We are not a tribe where it's like, don't support that. This is all about us. If you ain't in this tribe, that's it. No, we show up and we show out for other people. I had Yaya Louise Satish on here. She's the author of Jambalaya, Yaya Louise Satish. Go watch that interview if you haven't seen it. And the community has traveled over to her Patreon and has supported her so much in her new moon rituals and things like that. And I will never forget this. And it's just is like, just speaks to the manifestation of building a wellness centered community. The first new moon ritual she had after she did the live with me on my channel, it was so many people that it wasn't, the Zoom couldn't fit everybody. Like, people was locked out of the Zoom because she had reached capacity. And her assistant essentially was like, yeah, we was praying for this. Like, we was praying to have people come and show up and for you to you know, to get the support that you deserve, and to know that the wellness community has become somebody else's prayer manifested is like mind blowing. I get chills thinking about it, right? Like, having this vision, creating this community, people showing up and supporting, showing up and showing out. And then that vision also being somebody else's prayer manifested, and this is because it's a collective of people following their vision and their wellness, that's what it's about. And it's just crazy to even think that's what we do, and that's who we are for many people. We've been that for many people as a tribe who supports folks who are also centered in wellness, a tribe who loves on people, who builds people up, within our group chat, outside of our community, all of that. We are that tribe, and I'm grateful for that. So again, shout out to the wellness committee, y'all. I didn't even mean to go on that whole long tangent, but I'm just so, like I said, I just get chills thinking about it because it's been 4 years, and it's been a beautiful 4 years. And Shay, divine alignment will continue to thrive. God's will continue to thrive and grow, and I'm grateful for it. Now, let's get into this planetary alignment, y'all. Okay, let me tell you, I was meditating on this full moon in Virgo, right? And it's crazy. Y'all know I've been watching Love is Blind. I've never seen a single season of Love is Blind, but I've officially been influenced, honey. It's been coming up all over my FYP. And I said, let me get into this show. I'm watching season 6, honey. I am binging it. Baby, that's been my little getaway. Okay. It's binge watching Love is Blind season 6. But I was watching the show, and as I've been meditating over these past few days on this full moon in Virgo, and as I was watching the show, literally one of the journal prompts for this full moon in Virgo just hit me. It just hit me, and we'll get there, right? But essentially, this whole idea and concept of being fixated on how we measure success for ourselves, and how we have these benchmarks in our lives. And it's so interesting that we have a full moon in Virgo coming up, because full moons are all about revealing and releasing, right? So we get revelations about things that we need to work on, maybe things that we may need to heal from, or things we just need to completely release from our life, right? And it gives us the opportunity to release any energy that is not aligned with our wellness. Now, Virgo is a mutable earth sign. Virgos are known for being very critical, very analytical. They're also heavy planners, very structured people, right? One thing about a Virgo, they work very hard. Virgos are very hardworking beings, but they're very meticulous in a beautiful way, but sometimes it can be overwhelming, right? Virgos often struggle with isolation. They often struggle with shutting down because of this idea of being very structured and having to have things in order. If you need an event planned, if you need something done, get a Virgo to do it. Not only is it going to get done, but it's going to get done excellently. Okay, well beyond measure. A Virgo does not play. Shout out to Beyonce. Virgo energy. Come on now. If you saw the doc, you know what it is. Virgo energy. Remember she was giving that little squint. So I just researched it. They actually do have a film track that is that long. Oh, so you telling me that they don't? I researched it. I want what I want. I said what I said. That's Virgo energy. That's Virgo energy. And when we have a full moon in Virgo, oftentimes we feel the desire to isolate. And we really start thinking and analyzing life, and really like paying attention to how we are structuring our lives, ourselves, our tribe, and all of that, right? That's full moon in Virgo energy. Now, some other planetary alignments that may affect that is our opposition. So we have quite a few oppositions during this time. One of the oppositions that's going to really push us into like feeling the desire to isolate and go within is Mercury. Mercury is opposing this full moon in Virgo, right? Now, the thing about Mercury opposing this full moon in Virgo is Mercury is our planet of communication, our planet of transportation, technology, all of that, right? And when we think about that, and we think about this opposition of this planet of communication with that full moon in Virgo, Virgo already pushing us to go within, Virgo already pushing us to like isolate and analyze. That opposition may cause some hindrance in our communication, right? Causing us to not really wanting to talk to people, not really wanting to be around folks like that. So this is a good time that if you do feel the desire to kind of be alone, you do feel the desire to isolate, it is okay to do that. A lot of folks right now may be feeling a bit misunderstood by people around them, right? They may be feeling like they're not fitting in intellectually, spiritually, or whatever, just not really feeling aligned with people around them. It doesn't mean that the people around you are not for you, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean you need to release those people. It just means that right now is the time to kind of like, again, just isolate, go within, and just, breathe a bit, okay? Breathe a bit, analyze, contemplate. It's okay, but let's not analyze, let's not overthink, let's not overplan, because another planetary alignment that we have opposing this full moon in Virgo is Saturn, baby. Saturn, and Saturn is our planet of restrictions and boundaries. Now, when we have Saturn opposing a full moon in Virgo, y'all, a lot of the challenges that folks are facing during this time is overthinking, overanalyzing, over criticizing themselves, right? A lot of challenges when it comes to pushing your emotional limitations and your emotional boundaries. It's almost like right now, a lot of people are fighting themselves mentally. You're beating yourself up mentally. And that's what's heavily affecting a lot of folks. The overthinking, the overanalyzing, the over criticizing yourself is causing you to go into a mental battle with self. That's that Saturn opposition. And it's causing you to push your emotional limitations, push your emotional boundaries, right? Being on that brink of sadness and depression. Okay. So you have to really be mindful of that. I've been having a lot of folks reach out in different group chats and emails telling me that they're struggling, right? They're struggling right now mentally. And I'm very mindful to not just put it on the planetary alignment like, oh, don't worry about it. Oh, right now, we got a full moon in Virgo opposing Saturn, child. That's just normal right now. Don't worry about it. No, if you are feeling this and you are experiencing this, it's important to be aware that yes, this planetary alignment is impacting that, and it may be helping that, but again, it's helping that, right? Remember, full moons are for revelations and releasing. So it's a reason it's being revealed to you right now what's happening with you mentally. It's a reason that you're having these mental revelations right now. It's possible that you need to learn to release control. So, right now, in order to really be well, we have to implement practices that kind of help us release control, that help us give ourselves some grace, okay? And one of those practices is going to be really reassessing and reanalyzing your dreams, your goals, your definitions and measurements of success, right? Another opposition we have is Neptune. Neptune is our planet of dreams and spirituality. First off, let me just say, whenever we have Neptune opposing a full moon, so full moons already heighten emotions, right? It raises the tides, and we are more than 70% water. So it raises our tides, it causes a fluctuation of emotions. Anytime we have a full moon, period, but especially a full moon in Virgo where things are very structured, very planned, that's what we're desiring. A lot of overthinking, over analyzing, over criticizing. Anytime that's happening and you have a Neptune opposition, crazy dreams. Wild, crazy, very intense dreams, potentially, maybe even possibly some what people would call nightmares, right? Very intense dreams. So just be mindful of that. Don't take any of your dreams too serious right now. You may want to lay off of some of the Damiana and the Blue Lotus and all of that stuff. You may want to relax on it a little bit. Be mindful of taking like sedatives and stuff like that. We talked about this one in this community. Mentioned this in the chat when we was watching. What was we watching? Something, and they was talking about like how we was watching Inception, right? I mentioned this in the chat how like sedatives like NyQuil and things like that, and it intensifies dreams. It can make you have some wild, crazy dreams. Anytime you have a Neptune opposition, baby, wild dreams. So don't pay too much attention to your dreams. But this is a good time to analyze in relationship to like goals, measures of success. What are your desires? Pay attention to your desires. Are you doing too much? Are you doing too much? Are you putting too much pressure on yourself to do certain things in a certain time period? Are you putting too much pressure? And that's also that Saturn opposition that as well. Are you putting too much pressure on yourself to have a certain amount of money by this time, to reach a certain goal? You got to be married by this age. You got to have kids by that age. You got to have your first house by this age. You got to do this. Are you putting too much pressure on yourself? Right? Are you putting too much pressure on yourself? So you may want to reassess your goals, dreams, measures of success during this time. Okay. Also be mindful that, when it comes to your because again, we have that Mercury opposition, we have that Neptune opposition. Neptune, our planet of dreams and spirituality, Mercury, our planet of communication. When it comes to like your spiritual work right now, isolate. Keep it very closed in, keep it very private. Okay. I'm just gonna be honest with you. And listen, you follow your own spirit. But I right now would not advise too much like open group collective spiritual things as far as like, oh, I'm doing this open group ceremony, I'm doing this open group ritual open to the public. If you are going to do something with the collective, make sure it's a sacred collective of people that you really trust and know for sure are aligned with your wellness. Okay. You want to be mindful of spiritual confusion during this time. Okay. You want to be mindful of spiritual confusion this time. So don't be over communicating what you're doing spiritually. Don't over communicate what you got going on in your private spiritual life. Just be mindful, keep it delicate, keep it light, and keep it as private as possible. Okay. Now, we talked about the planetary alignment. We have Mercury, Neptune, and Saturn opposing this full moon in Virgo. Keep in mind the full moon in Virgo peaks on the 24th, but the shadow period lasts until about the 27th, and we are already in it right now. So, if you are feeling any of this energy, you are in alignment. And remember what I always say, being in alignment doesn't always feel good and glorious, right? Like people think like when you say, "Oh, I'm in alignment," that means that, "Oh, I'm always going to be great," and things like that. No, y'all, sometimes planetary alignment there is chaos. There's things going on. There's things that's pushing you to really like go beyond your comfort zone. So another thing that's going to be important in wellness community, y'all know me, I always say this: true healing and true wellness, you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? True healing and true wellness, you just have to get comfortable with being in spaces energetically that are just not bubbly and, ooh, you have to get comfortable in those revelations. You have to get comfortable when it's time to release. You have to get comfortable with having things revealed to you that may shock you, surprise you, sometimes even hurt your feelings. You have to get comfortable with sometimes realizing that you may be hurting your own feelings by over criticizing yourself, overthinking, over planning. You may be disappointing yourself, right? All of that is about being in alignment. We need these revelations in order to grow and to push ourselves to the next level, right? So anytime you have these revelations, okay, I may be overthinking here, I may be over planning here, I may be over criticizing there. Anytime you have those revelations, it gives you the opportunity to do something about it, right? So getting comfortable with being uncomfortable looks like deciding to embrace these revelations, embrace the uncomfort zone, and doing something about it. So what do you do, right? What do you do? And we'll get into that in the journal prompts. Which, speaking of, let's go ahead and get into the journal prompts wellness community. Um, if you are in the wellness community, you don't need to take notes. But if you are not, I heavily advise that you write the journal prompts down verbatim, and then you can remix them and all of that stuff as you desire. Okay, as you desire. But wellness community, you don't need to take any notes. I'll be posting the notes in the chat as soon as this video is done. The first journal prompt: are you a perfectionist? How has perfectionism, which is, being the perfect version of yourself, how has perfectionism affected you over time? What practices are you implementing to help yourself release control and give yourself some grace? Are you a perfectionist? How has perfectionism, this idea of or this version of your perfect self that you have in your mind, how has that affected you over time? And what practices are you implementing to help yourself release control and give yourself some grace? Okay, Salam, please, 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 please. Y'all, you know how dogs be trying to get comfortable and they be scratching to try to make themselves a little palette. I don't even know what's the imaginary palette he's trying to make. Okay, but he's trying to make himself a little palette on the sofa, a little air palette, and he's just scratching and scratching. Okay, I don't know if y'all can hear it, but it's like, that's what it sounds like. That's it. Scratching. Relax. sit down somewhere. Sit down. That's how I'm be with my children. Okay, I'm gonna tell them nicely certain things, relax. And then in my mind, I'm gonna be like, sit your down in my mind only. I ain't gonna talk to my kids like that, but in my mind, sit yours down. Okay. Anyway, journal prompt number 2. What aspects of yourself would you define as excellent? What aspect of yourself would you define as excellent? And the reason that this journal prompt is important, right, is because when we're in a space where we may be over criticizing ourselves, right? We may be over planning. Sometimes it's important to just remember the spaces that you are already excellent in. What aspects of yourself would you define as excellent as you are right now? Instead of being overly critical and focusing only on the things you need to work on, and I need to get better at this, I need to grow in this area, I need to do this, I need to be doing that. Where are you excellent? Spiritually, what are you excellent at doing to help yourself elevate spiritually? What about your spiritual gift, and what aspect of your spiritual gift are you excellent in? Mentally, what thoughts do you have about yourself that pertain to excellence? What mental wellness practices are you excellent at implementing, right? Are you excellent at calming yourself down in the midst of anxiety? Are you excellent at remaining calm in chaotic situations? Are you excellent at planning, that Virgo energy, right? At planning things? Are you excellent at analyzing, right? Are you excellent at being funny and finding joy in any moment, right? Mentally, what are you excellent at? And then physically, what's excellent about you physically? What aspect of yourself physically are you like, you know what, this is excellent? I don't care if it's the way you braid your hair. I don't care if it's the way you talk. I don't care if it's the way your lipstick lay or the way you walk, whatever it is. What aspect of yourself do you think is excellent, right? Assess that, analyze that, and write that down. Okay. The third journal prompt. What are your measures of success? How do you determine when you are successful? Would your desires slash dreams change if there was no judgment slash standards of success? For example, buying the house, car, material things, etc. in the world. What are your measures of success? And really ask yourself, if the world wasn't so judgmental, right? If the world didn't tell us what success looked like, how would you measure success for yourself? Right? Think about it. In Oneness Community, we talked about this a little bit when I was talking about like the idea of, like you have to have, in order to be successful, or these symbols of success we have, like the sneakers. Remember I told y'all about the story with the sneakers. The sneakers, right? You got to have these certain types of sneakers. You got to have jewelry. You got to have the house. You got to have the car. You got to this ownership and this and that, right? Like we have these ideas of success. If those standards wasn't in place, what would you want for you? How would you measure success for you? If the world didn't tell you this is what success looked like, what would you want? What would you desire? And that's how we get to our true dreams and our true desires, right? Once we release this idea of measuring success based on what the world tells us success should look like, that is how we really, really, really get an idea of what we want and what we desire. Okay, y'all, I got to get diddy. Hold on one second. Y'all, he back here cutting up. He back here cutting up. He's cutting up. Cut up. Okay? Cutting up. He gonna tear my couch up. Okay? He gonna tear it up. You got to get down. Go play with somebody else. Okay? Anyway. So that whole idea of shifting how we measure success is important. I was telling the wellness community, how like we grow up being told that, and that also adds to that overthinking, that over criticizing, over planning, and things like that, and putting these measures. We're often told that, like, to be successful you have to, before the age of 30. I remember when I was young, one of my friends was like, before 30 I have to be a millionaire, I have to be a millionaire. And over time, she realized that, like, that's not even the life that she wants for her. for her. She said that for her, she realized now that like it's not that she ever wanted to be a millionaire. She wanted to be financially comfortable and financially free. And in her mind, being a millionaire equaled financial freedom. Not even realizing that like there are millionaires who are in debt, right? There are millionaires who are struggling because what they have materialistically, or whatever the word is, what they have physically is more than what they can actually afford. And they're millionaires. So for her, she had to reframe and redefine her definition of success. It wasn't about the million. She wanted financial freedom. She wanted to be able to be financially abundant based on how she was living and her means at the time, right? Like, so she had to kind of redefine success, right? This idea, like, if you know, for myself, I was talking about this idea of buying a house, right? I recently had the option of buying a home, right? And it's something I've been contemplating over the past few years. And, you know, I really had to ask myself, like, okay, I definitely desire a house. You know, I know that for sure. I have a vision of what I want and everything like that. And I was like, you know, do I really want to do that right now, though? Right? Like right now. Do I really want to do that right now? And let's be clear, you know, we talked about this in the community, and I was telling them how, like, you know, if one thing I know for sure, and I've always known since I was young, is that as long as you live in America, there's no such thing as owning. Okay. As long as you live in America, there's no such thing as owning a house, owning land. There's no such thing. No shade, no tea. Okay. But there's no such thing. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. And we get obsessed with this illusion of like, I gotta have the house, I gotta have this. And it's a beautiful accomplishment to have, right? But when you realize that, like, if you miss out on those property taxes, if you don't pay them property taxes, the government is coming to get your stuff. Okay. So you don't own the land, you're renting it from the government. Okay. You still got to pay that rent, AKA them property taxes. Okay. If you got a mortgage, you're renting from the bank. Okay, you got to pay that mortgage because if not, what they said and work it out, big bold red letters, foreclosure. They coming to get their house. Okay, so you know this whole idea of like, what is ownership? What does that even mean? Why do I feel the need to own right now? Like, does that even feel well for me? And I've decided that, of course, I still want a house. I'm still going to get a house. I'm still going to do land and all of that stuff. But do I want that now? How do I want that? What do I want that to look like, right? Like why do I even feel like that equals success right now for me in the space I'm in? What do I want? What do I want? What is my vision? What is my dream? What is my desire? Where do I want to be? How do I want to live? When I close my eyes and I vision myself being happy and feeling successful and feeling like, oh girl, you is doing it, burden free, stress free. What is the vision? Right? And I decided what the vision is for me, and I got it. Okay. Thank God. I got it. Right. I made that decision. So when telling you to ask yourself these questions, that's what I mean. Right. That's what I mean. Ask yourself these questions like, close your eyes, envision yourself successful. No stress, no drama, no burdens. What would make you feel successful? Where do you see yourself living? What do you see yourself doing? What are your measures of success aside from what society told you would define you as successful, right? What is success for you? Okay. Now, the fourth journal prompt: how have you been emotionally? What aspects of your emotional wellness have been challenged lately? What are you doing to advance those areas? And that question is as plain and simple as it gets. As plain and simple as it gets. How have you been emotionally lately? Remember what I said earlier about, you know, that Saturn opposition, and a lot of our challenges will come with pushing our emotional limitations, our emotional boundaries. That's what a lot of our challenges will do during this time. So this may feel like a very emotionally intense and kind of erratic time right now, and that is okay. But really pay attention to those areas that you feel challenged, and what practices can you implement to advance yourself in those areas emotionally. Okay. The fifth journal prompt: How do you embrace uncomfortable energy? To truly progress, we have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. When you feel uncomfortable, what practices do you implement to ease your nervous system, mind, and spirit? When you get uncomfortable, what practices do you implement to ease your nervous system, your mind, and your spirit? Because again, we have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Those times that we are uncomfortable are our times of revelation. It's showing us something, it's revealing something to us. So you have to know how to regulate yourself, regulate your nervous system, because when we're uncomfortable, most people go into fight or flight, so you have to figure out how to regulate your nervous system, how to regulate your mind, your thoughts, as well as your spirit, and truly lead with spirit first, okay? And some practices, for example, could be chanting, right? For me, chanting really works. Chanting really helps me regulate my nervous system, regulate my thoughts, and align with spirit. That's like my quick go-to. Chanting is it for me always, okay? But it may be something different for you. Some people, they got other tactics. You know what I'm saying? Some people like to do silent meditation. Some people it's dancing. Some people it's just moving the body. It's going for a run. It's working out. It may be different for everybody, but what is your practice that you know when I'm uncomfortable, this is what I can do to help me clear my mind, ease my nervous system, and really just like tune and tap back into my spirit? Okay, so that's the fifth journal prompt. Now, crystals and herbs, some crystals that you can utilize, some herbs you can utilize to really help you advance yourself in this energy and just be well in this energy right now. This is a good time for us to practice like a lot of grounding, right? Again, remember what I said, like this is a good time to be in isolation and to just chill and just relax and be cool, So what can you do to ground? What crystals can you utilize to ground to really like help yourself be graceful and be easy and just calm the mind and the spirit during this time? So, five crystals. First crystal, blue sapphire. Blue sapphire is for emotional balance and also just enhancing the energy of like hope and peace. Blue sapphire. The second crystal is garnet. Garnet is for balance and grounding. Garnet. Third crystal, green aventurine. Green aventurine is one of my favorite crystals, y'all. I recommend it all the time. Easily one of my favorite crystals. Green aventurine is for prosperity and emotional wellness. Smoke quartz is for protection, okay, to protect our energy, to protect our spiritual energy, smoke quartz. And fluoride. Fluoride is good for mental clarity, okay, to help ease us from that overthinking, things like that. Tiger's eye is also good, CJ. That's an excellent suggestion. Tiger's eye is an excellent crystal, also for grounding and emotional wellness as well. That's an excellent suggestion. Okay. Herbs. Let's go to the herbs. Five herbs. Now, the first herb I'm gonna recommend, it's best to diffuse this herb, honestly. And some people drink it. Some people like to drink it. But to me, for me, it can taste a little soapy, but it's up to you, how you want to consume it. But this first herb is called Penny Royale. And I looked it up for y'all because I was like, I don't know if people will have this in their grocery store. I get it at my local Chinese, not local, because I got to go to Chinatown to get it. But the Chinese herb spot in Chinatown, I get it from there. But I looked it up for y'all and they sell it on Mountain Rose. I think it's called Mountain Rose or Mountain of Rose, something like that. Salam, stop. Mountain Rose and Mountain of Rose, that website. But it's called Penny Royale. And Penny Royale is very good for peace. It's good for harmony. It really calms you down. So remember I talked about regulating that nervous system? Penny Royale is a good herb for that. If you don't have Penny Royale, you can replace it. You can use cilantro. You can also use any type of mint, okay? A peppermint, a eucalyptus, a spearmint. That's also fine if you don't have Penny Royale. The second one is a resin, frankincense. Frankincense is good for emotional wellness and peace energy, and you can smudge with that. Smudge frankincense. The third one is cumin, third herb, cumin. Yes, cumin, like the spice cumin. With this herb, of course, you can eat it, you can add it to your food, but you can also drink it and you can smudge it, okay? And cumin is good for love energy, right? Protecting love, protecting peace energy, calmness in the home, okay? Salam, stop. Calmness in the home, okay? The fourth herb is mugwort. Mugwort is good for strength and healing. Strength and healing. Now, with the mugwort, keep in mind that mugwort can also enhance those dreams. Okay. Now, you can smudge with mugwort. You can also drink it. I would advise right now just kind of smudge with it and get it in the air, get it in the atmosphere. But I wouldn't necessarily advise drinking it and inhaling it during this time. Okay. I wouldn't advise that. Not right now. Okay. And then alfalfa. Alfalfa is for abundance protection, to protect your abundance, your financial prosperity. Any energy that you have around you that's flowing towards you in alignment with abundance. This is a great way to protect that energy. Okay. So with alfalfa, you can drink it or you can smudge it as well. So running back through pennyroyal, frankincense, cumin, mugwort, alfalfa, and then for the crystals, blue sapphire, garnet, green aventurine, smoked quartz, and fluorite. Okay, family. So those are our 5 crystals, 5 herbs. We went through our 5 journal prompts. We talked about the planetary alignment with this full moon in Virgo peaking on February 24th at 7:30 a.m. The shadow period has already started and it lasts up until about the 27th. We also talked about the other planetary alignments that may affect this full moon in Virgo, like our Mercury, Neptune, and Saturn planets opposing this full moon in Virgo. Keep in mind the sun is also opposing this full moon in Virgo. As always, when we have a full moon, that means it's opposing the sun. So when we have the sun right now in Pisces, shout out to the Pisces energy, as well as Mercury, Saturn, and Neptune in Pisces as well. We have a lot of Pisces energy happening right now. Pisces is also a mutable sign, but it's a water sign. So it's all about flow. Again, right now, a lot of people may be feeling stagnant, stuck because of that opposition of the full moon. So your emotions are telling you that you're stuck. Your emotions are telling you that you're stagnant. Your emotions are telling you you need to do more. Again, that overthinking, over planning, over criticizing, and all of that. That's that opposition of the full moon in Virgo with all of that Pisces energy of going with the flow, right? So a lot of our emotions are challenging us to really go against that idea of flow, right? And to help us get back into that flow, to help us tune in and tap into that Pisces side of things, we really need to release control. We really need to assess, what are we overthinking about? What are we over criticizing ourselves about? And really pour gratitude and love and grace into yourself right now. That's why one of the journal prompts was like, what are you excellent at, right? Like, how do you define excellence and success for you? And what are you already excellent at? What are you good at? Give yourself love, a lot of gratitude, a lot of grace right now, family, okay? I love y'all dearly. Wellness community. I will see y'all tomorrow, honey, for our series watch party finale. Let me tell you, if you're not in the wellness community, on your own, okay? You ain't watching it with the tribe, on your own. Watch the Genius series of MLK-X. It's called Genius MLK-X, and it's the stories of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Y'all, this series is done so excellent, and it's done better than anything. And this is saying a lot. Think about what I'm saying here. It's done better than anything I have ever seen on either of the figures. Yes, I said it. Yes, I said it. It's done better than anything I have ever seen on either of the figures. This story is telling not only the stories of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, it's telling the stories of their wives, okay? Betty Shabazz and Coretta Scott King. It's telling their story. Let's talk about the women. Everybody is in here. They got John Lewis. They got Bayard Rustin. They got everybody. Everybody has been in here. They talked about Medgar Evers. They talked about everything, y'all. It's so good. The finale premieres on National Geographic tonight, but it's they drop it on streaming services tomorrow. So it's on Hulu, Disney Plus, and National Geographic app tomorrow. Okay. So wellness community, I'll see y'all tomorrow so we could watch it as a collective. It's so good. If you ain't in the community, just go watch that series on your own. You are going to love it. Okay. I'm telling you, you'll love it. All right, family. Much love. Wellness community. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Everybody else, I'll see y'all soon. Okay. Much love, y'all. Much peace and happy full moon.